Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have, as usual, a great show for you today. Anyway, folks, how are my peeps doing this afternoon? I hope you're doing fine. Anyway, it's Turkey Day tomorrow. And I'm going to have a lot of turkey and fried and otherwise and good food. But do remember that the holiday is, in fact, a dubious holiday. So turn it into a positive for what you want to do. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show today. Welcome aboard to our regulars, El Señor Michael Rudden, AVQ in Brooklyn, New York. We also have with us E2247 from all over, Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. We also have in the house Lee Grant from Montgomery County, and Paul Fleming. I think I called out Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, New York. From Powder Springs, Georgia. Yvette Avery Harrod from Atlanta, Georgia is in the house. And I don't see anybody else. Yes, chilling at home. In-laws coming on Friday. Great, Yvette. I bet you can cook some slamming greens, can't you? Girlfriend, I'm stereotyping you from Georgia, girl. But I bet you can make some slamming greens with some good cornbread, right? I'm going over to some folks that we're going to have both American, Caribbean, and Latin American food this Turkey Day, man. So, hey, I can't wait till tomorrow. I can't eat too much today and tomorrow because I hope to chow down. Anyhow. Michael Rudden says, let me make sure I got everybody first before I go on to reading Michael's stuff. I think I got those that are in the house thus far. We're kind of limited on the amount of people. Likely it has to do with the holidays. But anyway, we are here. All right. El Señor Rudden says, Egberto, 2 for the screen. First one, as the last few remaining votes continue to be counted, Trump got fewer than half of all votes. I know. He didn't even get the majority of the votes. And let's make that clear, Señor Rudden. Let's make that very, very clear. Trump does not have a mandate. More than half of the people voted against him. Let's put that up loud and clear. Let's make it be clear. There it is, folks. Thanks to Brother Rudden giving us the little snapshot from the political report, the Cook political report. Trump is at 49.83%. In other words, he did not clear the majority of Americans. What this also speaks about is the poor job that Democrats did in getting their people out. Because had they just gotten their people out, they win this election in Atlanta. Look at that pathetic amount. 154 million people voted. That's it. Right? And of course, if you get a vote like that, that is what you have, right? And he only beat less than 1.6% over Kamala Harris. So check that out, folks. Whenever you hear them say he has a mandate, let's make it very clear. Let's make it clear. There ain't no mandate. More than 50% of Americans said, we don't want you. So every time you hear a media person, whether right or left, talk about a mandate, send a tweet, send an email, and immediately slam them down. This is not a mandate. So therefore, we will not let you govern as if you have a mandate. That is very important. Thank you for that, Senor Rudnin. It is very important that we point that out. Let's see what is the other image that you want to put out there. Why did you send 2? That's pretty much 2 of the same thing, Michael. The only difference is the other one has the map. So let me go ahead and put the map, the one with the map. Because as we can see, if we just held on to, what is the state? If we held on to, where is, look at how pink that is, 48, 50. Man, that's messed up. Pennsylvania, Michigan. Where's Michigan? Pennsylvania, Michigan. We did win Minnesota. Something, this math is not working right for me. That's Ohio. That is Indiana. That is Illinois. That is Michigan right there. Okay. I was kind of losing my mind because it was so pale. And Wisconsin, if we just got those right there, it would have been all over. But again, you win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, by losing this one, we get a lot of incompetents that are now filling out the positions on the in all these different positions. I mean, it's a comedy central of the people that are getting elected. All right, what else have we got here? AP, Israel Hezbollah ceasefire. Displaced Lebanese return home as deal takes hold. The agreement calls for 2 months initial halt in fighting and would require Hezbollah to end its armed presence in most of southern Lebanon, while Israeli troops would return to their side of the border, but implementation remains unclear. An intense bombing campaign by Israel left more than 3,700 people dead, many of them civilians. Lebanese officials say over 130 people have been killed on the Israeli side. The deal does not address the devastating war in Gaza, where Hamas is still holding dozens of hostages. U.S. President Joe Biden said his administration would make a renewed push for a ceasefire in Gaza in the coming days. Yeah, that would be good. But the truth of the matter is the criminal El Señor Netanyahu, the war criminal Netanyahu. And by the way, France says, oh, when he comes to France, we're not going to hold up and arrest him. So they're not going to follow international law. You know, international law is only good for particular countries, for particular leaders, right? Talking about privilege. I bet if it was somebody from Kenya, somebody from Pakistan, somebody from, I bet they would arrest them then. Well, maybe they'll take it easy with Pakistan. Pakistan has nukes. And India has nukes. So they'll probably take it easy with them. Okay, what have we got here? What else have we got? From our brother E2247, UN Security Council, 1701, non-state arms-free area ended the last round of conflict between Hezbollah and Israel in 2006. New 2024 line enlarging non-state arms area free. New 2024 line zone includes Crusader-era fortress, Beaufort Castle, strategically commanding an Israeli border view. All right. Let me give the numbers that we get all the time from E2247. Day 418 of the war, at least 44,282 Gazans killed, 2,524 persons more than on day 365, at least 104,880 wounded, 7,880 persons more than day 365, 149,162 casualties. It's sad. It's sad, but what can we do now? Other than keeping the pressure on and letting people be aware. Paul Fleming says, while the U.S. government has reached multiple settlements with Lincare over alleged and admitted wrongdoing, officials have never pursued Lincare execs. No one has faced criminal charges for activity the government investigators call fraud. Lincare paying multi-billion dollars for settlements in an integral part of doing business. The company, the largest distributor of home oxygen equipment in the United States, admitted billing Medicare for ventilators it knew customers weren't using. These private companies are thieves. We always talk about the inefficiency of the government. It's not the government that's inefficient. The private sector people, a lot of these guys are nothing more than thugs with ties. I like to call it thugs in ties, right? Thugs in ties. Spell it. Thugs in ties. Anyway, let's see what else we got here from our good people. Let's continue. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. Wealthy Republican pundits are telling you not to send your kids to college, but they're sending their kids to college. Get it? Of course. That's always standard. It's the same thing that they were telling people not to wear masks, but they were wearing masks when they weren't seen. They were taking their injections. It's sad because what they're doing, though, is killing their own people, right? Like more Republicans died during COVID than anybody else, right? Well, MAGA Republicans, that is. Let's see. Trump's second admin. This is from Paul Fleming. Trump's second admin includes 5 billionaires and at least 4 multimillionaires. They are all personally reaping the windfall of Trump's next round of tax cuts for the ultra wealthy, financed by cuts to Social Security, safety net. It's going to be worse than that. Yvette says, I can cook, but my wife is a chef. I'm retired. LOL. We're both originally from Alabama. Then we know you can cook, girl. We know our beautiful Yvette Avery Herod and her wife can cook just fine. Well, you know what? One of these days, when I finally get the Politics Done Right mobile going and I start driving around the country, I'll make sure to beg you for an invite for tasting some of your good food. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to be in town. Can you feed me, feed me, feed me? All right. Jay is in the house. I need tamales. Yo necesito tamales también. Tú me lo vas a dar. Me lo vas a vender. Come on, man. All right, Jay. What kind of tamales do you want? Okay, let's see what else we got here. At least 15 arrested journalists are held under administrative detention policy by which a military commander detains a person 6 months without charge and extends unlimited time. Where is that about? What is that about? Did I miss the previous one? 7 journalists. Oh, in Israel. Oh, doesn't surprise me at all. And we're going right down that route. All right. I will be also oilless deep frying 2 turkeys after the show. I will also be oilless deep. Hey, what are you doing? Air frying the turkey? How do you do that, Paul? I'm interested to hear that. Just great tasting collard or turnip greens. I know, girl. I know. I can't wait till tomorrow to have me some greens. Lee Grant says Trump won. That's a mandate. Punto final. But you know what? The problem is, Lee Grant, when Biden won by 7 million votes plus, by a landslide in the Electoral College as well, you guys didn't want to say he had a mandate. I mean, you see what I'm saying with the MAGA folk? But I don't think you're a MAGA. I think you just want to be, I just think you want to give me a hard time. I think you have a heart. All right, let's see what else. Egberto, you clicked the image citation. What are you talking about, sir? I don't know what you're talking about, my dear Michael Rudden. If you have something else you want me to post, put it up, my brother. Put it up. All right, Egberto, whenever I post an image, I tend to post a source alongside it. I got you. Thank you very much for that, Michael. I get it now. All right. Eric says, Lee, they keep wishing, but reality slapped you in the... No, we've admitted that the guy won the election. We're not trying to take that away. We just said it's not a landslide nor it's a mandate because he got less than 50%. But let's see if you guys would admit one thing. Biden's win was much bigger than Trump's win. Do you admit that? Let's see if you can admit that. Biden had a mandate because many more people voted for Biden than did vote for Trump. Do you agree with that? Let's see if you do. Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain is in the house. Eric Hayes can't wait for Doge. He says Doge is coming. He doesn't realize. I know Eric, right? And I know how Doge is going to hurt Eric. He doesn't. But he wants Doge because he's an ideological right-winger. He wants Doge. I feel for you, my brother. I still love you. Alistair Waters says it right. A tragic comedy. My dear, beautiful Alistair, I couldn't have said it any better. I could not have said it any better. All right, Michael Rani says, repeating. Egberto, this was the second one that I wanted for the screen that you skipped. All right, let's get it on the screen. If Michael wants it on the screen, it goes to the screen. Family separation. Wow, let me see if I understand that one. Trump. MAGA. Ha, 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 ha. I get it. Oh, my God. But it's so true, brother. So true. All right, let's see. Jay says mashed turnip with garlic are better than potatoes. Yum. Mashed turnips with garlic. Yeah, it's also more liquidy, right? Cut turnip, I think, is a little bit more, when you mash it, a little bit more liquidy than mashed potatoes, right? and raw organic coconut oil, not canned milk or raw oil. I just bought at Costco a big container of coconut oil. Costco sells it, and I think it's organic. It's just the oil, and it's flavorful. I use it all the time instead of butter. But I'm in Los Angeles. What do I know? No, actually, that is really good. Replace the one thing my daughter did tell me though is that the coconut oil is saturated oil, so it's not as good for you as olive oil. But I'm sorry, I'm Panamanian. We drink a lot of coconut water. We use a lot of coconut milk with our cooking, but also I use like a couple of days ago. I made a big pot of white rice, and I put about a couple of tablespoons of it was 2 cups of raw rice, 4 cups of water, salt, garlic powder, and about 2.5 tablespoons of coconut oil. Oh my God. You guys try that. And salt to taste, of course. The best rice, just white rice you'll ever had. Paul Fleming says, whoa, 21% of OBGYN doctors have or are planning to leave the state of Texas. Yep, we are in trouble here, big time. If anyone wants the recipe, let me know. Yum. Just put it right here in the chat. People would love that. This will work. We will feed you. I love you. Yvette Avery Harris, she says she would feed us, or she would feed me and whoever I have going around in that mobile. Look, that's one of my dreams. When I finish, I had paid off all my bills. Okay, that's why I could do this. I paid off all my bills. That's why I could do this. The politics done right. Then, of course, my daughter got sick, and I had to uphold 2 households, both in DC and here. And you know what that does to you, because where you decided in order to dedicate yourself to this, you have to have low cost. Well, that threw a wrench in it, baby. So I have to take care of that first, and then I'm going to put a GoFundMe for a Politics Done Right mobile, and I'm going to drive around the country, and I'm going to be doing Politics Done Right on the road for, from then on. I'm going to get a good cellular connection. That's my dream, at least. That's my dream. I want to go into Timbuktu, Louisiana, Timbuktu, North Dakota, and go to all these different places. And some people say I'm crazy because you're going to get killed. Well, look, I don't think so. I'll be sick. I'll make sure and do it right. But that's one of my dreams. I want to talk to everybody. All right, infrared cooking. Send me a link to that oven. I would love to see what that looks like. Infrared cooking, but I know what the infrared is. My buddy gave my wife an infrared cooker, but it couldn't fit a whole turkey, I don't think. All right, let's see what else we got here. If I just Googled women on welfare, and here are the stats. 43% are white, 26% are Hispanic, and 23% are Black. That sounds about right. Based on the population sizes, that sounds about right. Okay, what else have we got here? Before I go to our video. Okay, Egberto will need Starlink on the road. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I probably would have to use Starlink on the road. If the oil is raw, it is good for you, and it's the only oil that doesn't become carcinogenic when heated to fry. Now, that I didn't know. And by the way, when you say raw oil, what do you mean? Do you mean like when they pressed it, somehow they didn't use heat to press it? Explain. I think that's what you mean by raw oil. It's not hydrogenated saturated fat. That is correct. That is correct. Only if Egberto is the screener. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. Careful, Egberto. In some places in America, you might just get the Smollett treatment. I hear you, Burger Creek. I hear you. All right. Like I said, I would try my best to be safe. I'll try my best to be safe. Okay. The tariffs that Trump wrote, that silly DJ, what is it? Donald Trump DJT thing about, right? where he's going to put on tariffs on Canada and Mexico. That woman, that president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, I love her. I did a piece on that at KPFT this morning, and I cleaned it up. And I really want you to play it. I'm going to play it now, and I really want you to listen to the entire thing, folks. And please also share the video. I have it already in video form separated. I'd like to ask all of you a favor to share this video because I want people to get it. Let me get to that video real quick and get a link to the video. Get share. This is an individual video of what I'm posting here. But please share this. That is the video I'd like you to share. But here we go on that right this minute. It didn't go as many of us wanted. It went the way some wanted as far as our elections are concerned. But the dangers are there. The dangers are there. As an educational institution, KPFT is designated to tell you the things that are occurring. And right now, our media is in trouble. Good morning to Anna Hart from Washington State. And good morning to Gayla Kunis from Georgia. Great to have you here in the chat as well. By the way, folks, and I'm going to put this in the chat, my Blue Sky, I've also started my migration to the Blue Sky. Actually, I think that is the wrong video. I think that is the wrong video. Let me get back up and make sure that I get you the right video. I think that one is incorrect. So I want to make sure I'm sending you the right video. There we go. That was the wrong video. Egberto, ¿qué lo que te pasa? This is the right video, folks. It's coming on right now. I love women presidents. I love women leaders. They are usually so much more blunt. They are usually so much stronger because they don't have to play the good old boy game. They were never in the game in the first place. So generally speaking, not because women make better presidents than men or anything like that, but in today's world, women have got to be better presidents and better prime ministers and better everything than men because of the way the system judges, not only by men, but even by some women. As you can see, what happened with Kamala Harris, an incompetent traitor rapist wins the presidency of the United States, even with the help of women. Patriarchy is an interesting thing, but you know what? I am so proud of our Mexican president. She nailed it in her response. Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, who is the new president of Mexico. And as you know, Donald Trump, he said in his Truth Social, that failure of a social media device. Let me read what he actually said. He said, as everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime and drugs at levels never seen before. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico, composed of thousands of people, seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border. On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States, and it is ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time that they do it, it's time for them to pay a very big price. First of all, it starts with a lie, right? That there's caravans coming to the United States. We are a low, but I want to read you the response. And I read the response that was translated by one of our newspapers. And I don't trust our newspapers to be frank in their translation at all, because again, I don't have faith that just like the Washington Post, just like the LA Times, they were commanded not to endorse as they should. I decided I would get the original letter in Spanish that was sent by Miss Sheinbaum Pardo to Trump. And when I read that letter, I said, I love women presidents. I love women prime ministers. Women, again, because they know they're not a part of the good old boy network, that they can be as free to do as they should. She says, estimado presidente electo Donald Trump, me dirijo a usted a raíz de su declaración del lunes 25 sobre inmigración, tráfico de fentanilo y aranceles. I'm writing to you about what you spoke about migration, traffic, the fentanyl traffic, and the tariffs. I'm not going to read this one completely in Spanish because what she wanted to say is, let me forewarn you that the truth is that unlike your statement on Truth Social, according to your own records, the migration rate to the United States over the last year has dropped by 75%. In other words, there are very few people crossing the border right now. He said, however, let me read that one in Spanish. Por estas razones ya no llegan caravanas migrantes a la frontera. We don't longer have, because of the work we've done, there's no more that caravan coming to the United States. Aún así está claro que debemos arribar conjuntamente a otro modelo de movilidad laboral que es necesario para su país y de atención a las causas que llevan a familia a dejar sus lugares de origen por necesidad. She said, but by the same token, because of what you need in your labor force, your own labor force, we need to come out with some sort of a model of how we're going to have the exchange of labor between countries. But then she nailed him. Let me tell you what she said. She said, si un porcentaje de lo que Estados Unidos destina a la guerra se dedica a la construcción de la paz y el desarrollo, se estará atendiendo de fondo la movilidad de las personas. Oh, that was a slicing statement. She said, look, but let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. If your country was to take a fraction of what you spend on war and use it for peace and use it for the development throughout Latin America, that's what she's referring to, then all of this stuff would be done with. We wouldn't have this kind of migration come into the United States. In other words, if you want to stop the migration, there's something you can do about it around the Latin America area where all these problems are occurring. Then she says, por otro lado y por razones humanitarias, siempre hemos manifestado la disposición de México para evitar que siga la epidemia de fentanilo en los Estados Unidos, que por las demás es un problema de consumo y de la salud pública de su país en lo que va del año de las Fuerzas Armadas Mexicanas y las facalias han inaucado toneladas diferentes de drogas. She's saying, look, by the way, this fentanyl epidemic, for humanitarian reasons, Mexico wants to help you, in effect. But remember, this is your problem. It is your country that has a drug problem. And later on, as she continues, she said, we don't have a fentanyl problem in our country. It is your country that has a drug problem. It is your country that has a drug producing country. And please do remember, she continues in the letter, please do remember that the precursors to make fentanyl are not manufactured in Mexico or Canada. They are manufactured in countries overseas, in Asian countries. And then she points out, but let me tell you, Mr. President, so therefore, to solve this problem of avoiding the precursors to these drugs from Asia, it seems to me like you don't only need a conversation with Canada and Mexico, you need to have a conversation with all these other countries. In other words, you have to do what again? Negotiate. She hits him again. She says, and by the way, because trafficking of drugs, etc., are illegal, and to do this require, all these people who transfer drugs use guns, and we don't manufacture these guns that come into Mexico to maintain this trade of illegal drugs. They come from where? The United States. So here you go. You have your population with a drug problem. They are the ones using drugs. America is the one that has a drug problem. America is the country that has a gun problem. You are exporting your gun problems to Mexico. Your drug problems are causing Chinese companies as capitalists to move the precursors for these drugs to Mexico and Canada to get into the United States. And then your arms are killing a lot of Mexicans because your country has a lot of drugs. So imposing tariffs, this is what she's saying. So you can try to impose tariffs on us. Let me tell you, you impose tariffs on us, we will do the same thing and impose tariffs on you. But also, Mr. President, do remember, all of this is in her letter. I'm not going to read it in Spanish anymore, but do remember that General Motors, Stellantis, and Ford Motor are manufacturing cars for American consumption in Mexico. And as they go over the border, you will be taxing your citizens and creating inflation in your country. Oh my God, she hit him so hard with a few inconvenient truths. In other words, your problem, you are trying to have us solve your problem. You're going to put tariffs on us to solve your problem. You guys are the druggies. You guys are the ones that have to be medicated. You guys are the ones that make guns. You guys are the ones giving us the weapons to kill a lot of our own people. Suppose we decide to use the same thing that you are doing and decide to say, oh, since guns are manufactured in the United States and coming into Mexico and a lot of Mexicans are getting killed from your guns, maybe we should put a big tariff on you because you are getting our citizens killed with the manufacture of guns in the United States. Again, whenever you're pointing a finger, be careful. There are 4 more pointing back at you. Unlike Trudeau from Canada, who said, oh, I had a conversation with Trump and we're talking about all the different kind of trades that we have in the... No, she didn't do that. She came right at him. Don't be giving me this crap, Trump. You guys are the druggies. You guys are the dope addicted folk. You guys are the one manufacturing weapons that kill people. And now you want a tariff because your folks can't get off the drugs, because you can't stop your industry from manufacturing guns for a profit as they kill people. This reminds me of 1989. And for those of you who listen to the show often, you hear me talk about this all of the times. I'm originally from Panama, Central America, and I remember 1989 very well. I remember just before the invasion started, I got a call from a friend of mine who worked for the CIA. He's a soldier in the United States, born in Panama. He's like, Egberto, you didn't hear this from me, but let your people know it starts tonight. And then Bush started having those C-130s. Every 5 minutes, a C-130 landed in Panama, Fort Howard Air Force Base, all these bases. And then they started the invasion. They blew up the Cuartel Nacional in Colón. That's the city that I'm from. That's surrounded by tenements. All those people got killed as they opened up. In Chorrillo, in Panama City, they opened up in the cuartel where Manuel Antonio Noriega was, killed a lot of people. They invaded purportedly because Manuel Antonio Noriega was facilitating drugs into the United States, and a few American soldiers in Panama got shook up supposedly by Panamanian defense forces. Okay, what is our response to that? We blow the crap out of Panama, destroyed parts of Colón, destroyed parts of Chorrillo in Panama City, killed thousands of people purportedly to get one man, Manuel Antonio Noriega. And what was his fault? He was a capitalist. How was he a capitalist? Well, America demanded drugs. American people love all those drugs coming from Colombia. They love those drugs coming from all these different places. So they said, as good capitalists do, I'm not a capitalist, but Noriega was a capitalist. He said, well, there's a need for drugs in the United States. I will facilitate the supply of drugs to the United States. And, well, instead of solving the problem in the United States where people are on drugs, they decided to blow up Panama for facilitating the supply of something many Americans wanted. So a lot of Panamanians died for that. My friends, that is why so much so I so love honest presidents. Women like Sheinbaum in Mexico have no problem telling Trump the inconvenient truth that if you want to solve the border problem, there are solutions, and it's not with tariffs, and it's not with putting people in camps. It's by using a fraction of the money you use to kill people or to give Israel bombs or Ukraine bombs to kill more people. a fraction of that used in just development in countries around the world that you have yourself with your policies, the rice policy for Haiti that favored the American farmer and destroyed the Haitian farmer. And we can do that country after country after country after country. But we don't see it that way. Our government doesn't see that way. And our government, with the lies that they tell the people of the United States, put us at risk because they tell us they don't like us because of our freedom. It has not a damn thing to do with our freedom. It has everything to do with not the policy of the good American people, but the policies of the evil corporations who are the genesis of most of these problems as they use the American government to abuse other places. I just so love that letter that President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo sent to Trump. And then I turned on the TV this morning and I wanted to hear the mainstream media tell the American people the truth. Tell the American people how this tariff not only ill-conceived, but how immoral this tariff was, because it's asking the average American, good people that are not on fentanyl, people that are not doing drugs, but they're falsely going to apply a tariff under the pretext that Canada and Mexico are sending fentanyl into America and sending undocumented workers into America as if it is their fault, when all the fault begins here. And she told him in no uncertain terms, brother, Trump, that's your problem. Then I turned on the TV to see if anybody would capture the essence of what President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo told to Trump. You cannot change, you cannot fix things if you don't first accept the reality of how things are. And madre mia, por favor. That's exactly what she did. And of course, I turned to every channel, every news channel, every newspaper in the United States, and no one covered it in the context in which it should have been covered, except for the Latin American papers. I got up this morning and I read Infobay, a Latin American paper, La Prensa, another Latin American paper, where we could actually see the words that she wrote in the proper context that she wrote it. Folks, why do you need independent media? Because we're lied to. Why do you need independent media? Because our mainstream media has a position that actually is not in your favor. It's in the corporate favor, as it keeps us uninformed, many times disinformed.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.
So yes, folks, please join. Please remember to join our network. You can do that many different ways. politicsandright.com/support, politicsandright.com/support, or go to politicsandright.com/newsletter and become a paid subscriber. That way you get a whole lot of stuff. We're going to be putting out a whole lot of stuff later on this before the end of the year. But anyway, folks, what are your thoughts? Anybody want to give me a call and tell me what they thought about what she did? I am just in love with that woman. And I mean, I was so proud of what she did. I think it is wonderful what she did. What's your thoughts? I'd love to hear a few of you tell me, hey, Egberto, I agree with you. I think this woman is boss. I think this woman is boss. And I do think she's boss. And I think, what are your thoughts? Let me do a little cleanup here real quick. That TV, make sure that stuff is working correctly. All right. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Gerard says, I am in for full force deportation, but about tariffs, I don't know what F got to do with immigration, cause I am the one to pay for taxes, even if I buy made in the USA, still expenses because of labor costs. I don't know if I understand what you're trying to say, Gerard. I am for full force deportation. Do you think maybe we should go ahead and Mexico should deport all those people, all those Americans in Mexico who overstay their visas and just stay, buy up property without any legal documentation there? Do you think we should do that over there in Mexico? Because that's what a lot of Americans do. Mexico has pretty strict immigration laws, but Americans just go there and stay. They don't care. Nobody messes with them, right? And that's how Americans operate all over the world. We go, we just stay. Do you want them to treat us that way as well? What about the idea as well that a lot of, if you read, I suggest you read the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty. Of course, we don't ever keep treaties. Let me give a good example. It's amazing, right? Donald Trump signed the United States, Mexico, Canada, this UMC deal, which was a correction of the SALT Treaty, right? And by him just stating that he's going to throw a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico, that's breaking the treaty. And we always talk about the law. We've never held up a treaty before. We break all treaties. We signed a treaty with Iran. Another president comes in, breaks a treaty. We signed a treaty with the indigenous folks on the Black Hills. A few Americans find gold there. They break the treaty. The army comes in, kill off the Indians and throw them on reservations. You see, the things that we ask others to do, we never do. Name me a treaty that we have kept when we wanted to get out of it. We don't. We just say, we don't like this treaty. Bye-bye. But we want everybody else to hold on to these treaties, right? Folks, you got to look. You know why? Donald Trump is the instantiation of America in your face. In other words, Donald Trump is just an in-your-face president that has always been. I want you guys to think about that. Because Donald Trump doesn't, the one thing that I have to say about Donald Trump is I haven't seen him as a warmonger, though. After all, Bush came to Panama and blew the crap out of Panama to get one person. We support a guy named Netanyahu who is committing genocide in Gaza, and we continue to send him bombs. So, food for thought. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. AVQ says, Biden for last 418 days helps with Israel taking Lebanon's land by refusing to full stop Israel aggression, providing Israel dollars, weapons, military equipment. Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. All right. J. Ray says, once again, a lady owning Trump on paper, just like Kamala did. Speaking truth to bigotry. Exactly. And he says, when it comes to our immigration policy, USA is often like the kid that throws the rock and hides its hands and says, why do you have broken windows, but teases you about it? It's funny. That is so true. Like I said, we have never upheld a treaty we have signed as a country. And we are one of the biggest bullies there are. We don't get what we want, we blow stuff up. So we did it in Panama. We did it in Iraq. We did it in Afghanistan. We did it in Iran. We did it in Nicaragua. We did it in Haiti. That's what we do. Bruce says, every year since 8 years ago, I am getting back some portion of what I paid in plus interest. I will calculate what the payback year will be and hope to live that long. Are you talking about Social Security, Bruce? Let me know. Or is that what it is? All right, Egberto for the screen. Make sure it's something clean that I can put on the. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Actually, I want to do that. Thank you. I love Rudnin. Rudnin give us good material. He does his homework. All right, 1974. Black Hills Gold Rush. U.S. miners invade the area. Yeehaw! Exactly. 1877, U.S. government officially seizes the Black Hills. 1876, the Great Sioux War. I read that in the wrong direction. All right. 8, removes the Sioux by force. Yeah, so you sign a treaty with the Sioux. The Black Hills belong to them, it's part of their territory. They find gold, and we just kick them out. And we want to talk about those people who are coming over the border just to work, when we have done this sort of thing, just taking people's land all along. We should have some humility for the genocide that we've effected on people. We should have humility for the crimes that we've committed against humanity. We should have some humility. I was on a TikTok live. I was just going through TikTok as I was writing, right? And as I'm writing, I'm going through this TikTok live. And it happened to be a TikTok live with Black Latinos and white Spaniards. In other words, as you know, Spain conquered a lot of South and Latin America in the name of the Queen, right? And also, a lot of the Black Latinos, some from Cuba, Haiti, and so forth, were talking about all the atrocities that the Spanish committed. And the Spaniards on the chat were pissed. They were like, we're tired of this. We had to learn in our schools. We learn about the shame of what we did, what our ancestors did, but that's our ancestors. That's not us. So I went on to the chat and I said, you're right. It was your ancestors, but you are still living off of the riches that were inherited down from your ancestors. Another person said, but I didn't get any inheritance. I said, of course you did. When the Queen filled their coffers with the stolen gold, etc., and built streets and did all that kind of and built homes that nobody else could use, guess what? That is stolen money that they used. Okay, that is stolen money that they used. So the question is, and I told this to the Spaniards, I said, look, you know what goes a long way? Not anybody guilting you or blaming you. That's not what it's all about. What it's all about is simply saying, you know what? For people to understand that you understand what your ancestors did and how that has affected those who suffered the wrath of your ancestors, and how it is on you to make sure that that doesn't continue. It's amazing. And I think one of them saw that, but some of them didn't, right? And look at Lee Grant. He says, America is so guilty. Maybe we need a national sorry day like the one in Australia. You need more than a national sorry day. You need reparations. That's what you need. Egberto got 30 seconds for a laugh from a TikTok. All right, let me see. I have to be careful.
I don't have any white guilt. Like in Ireland, we had potatoes in the ground. We picked them.
All right, I like that. I think I saw that one already. Let me see if I can bring that over. I think I like that, brother. I don't think this guy will give me I think as long as I label it correctly, he'll be okay with me playing it. I don't think he'll be too mad at it. We're talking about it, and I think 30 seconds would be fine. All right, let's go ahead and do it, Radnin. Let me make sure that I have all the connections correct. I think I do. Let's try it.
I don't have any white guilt. Like in Ireland, we had potatoes in the ground. We picked them ourselves. Went to like another continent, stole all their people, and made them pick the potatoes. That would be crazy. Who would do that? I don't have any.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one. Exactly. 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 Let's see what Brother Grant shows us now. National Sorry Day. We need more than like I said, I don't want a National Sorry Day. I want people to say, I acknowledge what happens. And because I acknowledge what happens and the ultimate result from the loss of capital that was stolen from these people, why we need to have something like reparations. That's all I want to hear. That's all. Eso lo único que quiero oír. Es bien simple. Stagen Bergen Creek says, I love this idea. It would be something school children could do, art, and sit. Everyone could gather like a reverse Thanksgiving where we could publicly express our guilt. You know what? It's so funny. People complain about what? Do you want us to feel guilty? It's not about feeling guilty. It's about acknowledging why, you know, when we look at the wealth of the black population versus the wealth of the white population in the aggregate, why is it that it is such a distant, you know, people, a lot of folks would like to look at like, oh, there's something genetically wrong with black people, why their wealth isn't the same. Oh, no, this is systemic. When we talk about systemic issues, that's what we mean. No, there are specific factors that caused it. Things like, right, redlining, which means your property couldn't appreciate like your white neighbor's property. There was also GI Bill, where your white counterpart got more than you did. There are a lot of these things that over time prevented the equal growth of wealth. It's that simple. But you have to acknowledge it. And that's all folks are asking people to do. Acknowledge that there is a problem. And after you have acknowledged it, you go ahead and start talking about repairing the damage that was created. And I'm not talking writing a check to people. I'm talking about ensuring that they get built up so that they are on an equal playing field. We're not asking for equal outcomes. We're asking for equal access to success. It's that simple. It's that simple. Not difficult at all. And yeah, my sister, Yvette Avery Herod, reparations is a must. Reparations is a must. You know, I mean, acknowledge a problem. They write the check. No, I don't. Make sure that the people have equal access to success. But by the way, we can quantify how much was stolen now. We can quantify that. And we should go to the insurance companies that insured slaves and all that kind of stuff. We could actually quantify it. You know, let's be clear. Paul Fleming says, oh my God, I was at the grocery store picking up a few last minute things for Thanksgiving, and a guy and his wife rounded the corner. He was carrying a case of Keystone Beer and was complaining that the price had gone up $1.50. And what he said next made me literally laugh out loud. He said, I can't wait till January so this beer will be cheaper. Okay. Cue loud laughter. Newsflash, dude. Keystone Beer comes from Manitoba, Canada, one of the countries that 45 said he will add a 25% tariff. Again, these people are not very smart, Paul. That's why you have to coax them into accepting some education. Okay? You hear me, Paul? I finally had my Tesla service for the first time. A tire rotation and a fluid check. That's it. Living life. All right, buddy. So you're supporting that crook, huh? All right. Anyway, folks, we are coming to the end of the program. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to make sure everybody has a great, great, great Turkey Day. All right? I want you to have a good Turkey Day. I don't call it Thanksgiving because I don't see how you give thanks for murder. But again, I want you guys to have a great Turkey Day. I'm going to have me a great Turkey Day. I'm going to be eating some good food. And I want you guys to have some good food. We will have a show tomorrow. It will be live but taped. And I'll also include the video of my wife making her stuffing that I did several years ago. I'll add that to the program as well. I think you will love that. All right. So without further ado, I want to ask everybody to please support the program however you can. I am asking those of you who have the wherewithal to do so to please consider becoming a paid subscriber of our newsletter, which helps off the cost of us doing this work. That is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can also, if you don't want to be a paid supporter of our newsletter, you can go to politicsdoneright.com/support and become an official supporter in one of the many ways that we have in that link. But we cannot do this without you. We cannot do this without you. Once again, please, Lee Grant, there isn't a real Western culture. Western culture is an amalgamation of all the cultures of the world. It is made up of all the cultures of the world. That's what Western culture is. If you go to Europe or anywhere else, that is a combination. That isn't something inherent to the West. It's a piece of Africa. It's a piece of Arab. The mathematical system is not Western. The mathematical system is Arab. You know, the Arabic numerals, right? A lot of the things that you create came from China. They came from Africa. So no, there isn't a Western culture per se. The Western culture is an amalgamation of many, many cultures. You see why we have to school folks? I'm schooling you on this one, my brother. Learn it. Don't repeat that statement again. It's a false statement. All right, let's also go ahead and again, put this again for you. Please consider supporting, becoming a paid subscriber, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.